been, I guess, my overall arching point is every team LeBron bails on goes into the tank, and every star he moves off of goes into a worse situation. And, the Kyrie Irving injury, by the way, because of all the injuries and because Luka shared offensive responsibilities, when you took Luka away from the Mavericks, it forced Kyrie to play more minutes. So it was very taxing on Kyrie's smaller body. Kyrie, since the Luka trade, I was just told, leads the NBA in minutes played. So again, like this is another reason you don't make that trade. So Kyrie, a small player who's had injuries, you're asking him to put so much responsibility, so many minutes on his body with the rest of the team beat up that Kyrie's body gives out after a while. So it is crazy how often LeBron's timing is just perfect. I mean, the minute he leaves a team, they fall off a cliff. The minute he moves off a star, that star goes into a worse situation, or his year is bad, or he's not the same player, or the circumstances are off. And I just, after a while, I don't think it's luck. I just think LeBron's got an intuition. He sees problems much better than most coaches or executives in the league. There's an argument he's the best executive in the league. I mean, you could make that argument. LeBron's the best executive in the league. He has made that many smart moves. Can't stand the GM. And I think he knew about the Luka thing. I think he saw that thing the minute Cuban sold that team. I think he saw it. There's an opening. Go get my guy. I prefer Steph, maybe Jokic. They're not available, and I tried with Steph. So I saw this story. This is a big story yesterday. Kind of infuriating to me. So apparently in the combine over the weekend, you had these Shedeur Sanders, the quarterbacks, they'll interview with teams. And the report is Shedeur Sanders was a little brash. According to Todd McShay, two people that I spoke to left the meeting with Shedeur, and Shedeur was not overly concerned with what they thought of him. Would you be? You watched the Cleveland Browns the last 10 years? So this idea that he's going to drop in the draft cracks me up. Tennessee, Cleveland, and the Giants, all messes that could need a quarterback, could use a quarterback, and should draft one. These teams, one of them, two of them, or all three of them apparently didn't love what they heard from Shedeur Sanders. So I want you to think about this. Let's just take the New York Giants. Go back to week 12, 2017 season. It's kind of the end of Eli Manning. He has a terrible game against Washington. The Giants are 2-9. He's awful. Until today, March 4th. That is 379 weeks that you knew that Eli Manning was washed until today. And you still are a disaster at quarterback. And you think Shedeur Sanders in an interview is supposed to walk in there and be blown away, and that you as a team have the leverage. You think Cleveland has leverage. You think Tennessee has leverage. It's okay to sometimes admit as a business, the employee may have more leverage. All right? So this idea that this kid who grew up rich because of NIL got richer and who's really good, and you're a terrible franchise, either Tennessee, Cleveland, or New York, that he didn't bow down to you. Because Shedeur Sanders realizes, let's say it's the New York Giants or Cleveland, you're a hurdle to his success. He'll be successful if he goes to Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Brock Bowers, and cap space. The Giants are a hurdle, an impediment to success. So this idea that you're desperate and you think you have all the leverage. No. Caleb Williams had some leverage. Cam Ward has some leverage. It's over that the employee doesn't have any leverage. In my business, in pro football, college athletes now, the coach doesn't have all the leverage. And I think there's executives and coaches. Rick Pitino said this the other day, St. John's coach. Adapt. You can complain or you can adapt. The late Bobby Knight would complain about transfer portal, or you can adapt. John Calipari, to his credit, is like, okay, one and done. That's how I get the best players. I can grumble and complain about it, or I can, like Rick Pitino, we don't even recruit high schoolers. I can complain about it or just adapt. And so it's kind of infuriating to me. I don't know. I mean, Shedeur Sanders grew up rich. NIL got rich. Yeah, I'm sorry he didn't come in desperate. But this idea that these kids now these quarterbacks in a bad quarterback class, and he may be the best one, and you are a tire fire of a franchise. And, you know, he came in here. I mean, the quote from McShay is actually funny. The quote is that they left the meeting feeling Shedeur was not overly concerned with what they thought of him. Well, I mean, they thought Daniel Jones was great. They thought giving Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract was brilliant. Somebody drafted Will Levis. I wouldn't be overly concerned if I was a quarterback with 3 teams that don't appear to know what the hell they're doing. I'm sorry. He gets a little say, too. You're bringing your attitude because he doesn't come in and bow down to you. The business doesn't always have all the leverage now. It's 2025. Sometimes the employee has a little bit. You know, sometimes, you know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and there are 2 companies battling for him. And one of the companies was sort of outraged that he wasn't just totally committed to them. And he said, well, I've got another company that's a bigger company offering more money. Like the day if you're an employer and you think you have all the leverage, or you're an NFL team and think you have all the leverage, I mean, I think Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, they would like to be passed on by Tennessee, Cleveland, and the Giants. They'd rather go to a winning franchise. J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, best thing that ever happened to him, he fell to Sean Payton. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
All right, Colin, we're going to start with that disappointing news where Kyrie Irving has suffered a season-ending torn ACL. Happened right there.